Resources, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I greatly appreciate your concern, Your Honor, immediate action on this matter, and willingness to listen to a young person fresh out of college. I, along with a handful of individuals, have been actively researching about the collection and exportation of our marine species. This began after we were informed about the company Shell Horizons Inc. last month, and here is a screenshot from the website. This is a company that allegedly collects and exports shells and corals from the Philippines, including those protected by CITES, like the giant class. Your Honor, we immediately sought the assistance of concerned government agencies, such as the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Protected Areas of the Wildlife Bureau, and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, because it says in the Wildlife Act, or RA 9147, and I quote, that the implementation of international agreements on international trade in endangered species of the wild fauna and flora, the management authorities for terrestrial and aquatic resource shall be of the PAUB, the DENR, and the BFAR. And this is a letter that I sent. The letter cited excerpts from several local and international laws, such as the Wildlife Act, the Fisheries Code, the Presidential Decree 1219, which protects Philippine corals, and the Lacey Act of the United States of America. The DENR replied, Your Honor, with a letter signed by Attorney Annalisa Rebel-Tate, referring me to the PAUB. The PAUB replied with a letter from Director Teresita Mondita Lim a week earlier than DENR did, referring me to BFAR. The Assistant Director of BFAR, Attorney Benjo Tabia, said he would look into it. A month later, I asked for an update. This is via email, and this is a screenshot from my email, to which he replied, let me check it out. There was absolutely no sense of urgency, Your Honor, from any of the government agencies. Your Honor, with the help of our friends at the media, we were able to generate a small buzz online, and within a month, the Shell Horizons replaced its source of products from the Philippines to the Indo-Pacific Islands. Here's the screenshot. Their product catalog now also states that none of their exotic corals are Philippine corals, and I've highlighted it here. Your Honor, if it weren't for the headlines splashed across our major broadsheets this week and last week, perhaps we wouldn't be taken seriously. It was only after an article entitled Coral Reefs Twice Size of Manila Destroyed was published in the Daily Inquirer that our government officials started acting upon this matter. And these are pictures from the inspection held last Monday. Now there are about 11 resolutions urging the concerned Senate committees to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation on the status of our coral reefs, sea turtles, and other marine species. I strongly support SRN 424, introduced by Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, which directs the proper Senate committee to conduct an inquiry on the proliferation of illegal wildlife trade and the need for stronger enforcement of our laws to curb the incidents on animal smuggling. We need not look far. Cartemar is known to sell she-cells and even black-tip sharks. We have also discovered many more companies openly selling protected seashells and other marine species that are allegedly from the Philippines. And allow me to show some screenshots from these websites. This company called Dennis Brands is selling black corals from the Philippines, and the prices range from $80 to $108. Another company called Top Seashell gets their shells from the Albay Gulf, as I highlighted there, and Arangosa Island, which is in Surigao del Sur. This is another shot. They're selling clams, $25. This is another site called the Shell Store, and I've highlighted, these are some shells that are protected by the BFAR. They're part of the endangered list of the BFAR. And here's another site, and Your Honor, these are just some of the many sites that we've seen, and I have a printed document that I will submit after. This is called Top Seashells, and they're also selling here. It says Philippines, Balot Island, Philippines, Palawan, Philippines. And we even have a website selling sand from the Philippines as well, coral sand from the Philippines. Before the Senate creates new laws, we fervently request you to review and revise our existing ones. We urge the Senate to add a provision regulating the collection and exportation of our seashells. As of now, there are no laws that protect non-endangered shells. Our online research has led us to ocean bill of lading samples from the company Orgullo Enterprises, which is based in Mandaue City, Cebu, Philippines. One shipment, and I have the screenshot as well, dated February 2011, had 8,556 kilograms of shell and shell handicrafts, while another one dated April 28, 2011 had 6,982 kilograms of shell and shell handicrafts. Your Honor, I would also like to respectfully invite your attention to Chapter 6, Section 91 of the Fisheries Code, which states that the penalty for a crime like this will be punishable by imprisonment for 6 months up to 2 years and a fine of 2,000 pesos to 20,000 pesos. In Chapter 5, Section 28 of the Wildlife Act, the penalty for engaging in trading wildlife is only imprisonment of 10 days to 1 month and or a fine of 200 pesos to 20,000 pesos if inflicted or undertaken against other wildlife species. The punishments for the crime do not match the severity of the crime, Your Honor. Just 2 years in jail for the criminal, but at least 2 decades for the coral reefs to recover. The amount of black corals and marine turtles seized by the Bureau of Customs this month was estimated to be worth at least 35 million. The recent raid in Cebu confiscated marine species worth 2 million, while another raid revealed sacks of black corals worth about 15 million pesos. We as Filipino citizens are seeking your help as senators of the Republic of the Philippines. Our online research only leads us to a limited amount of information. Senator Laurel has introduced SRN 491, the resolution directing the concerned Senate committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the reported poaching that ravaged 7,000 hectares of the seabed within the Moro and Sulu Sea. We strongly suggest coordinating with agencies based abroad, as Attorney Acosta had said previously. This needs international cooperation because we need to stop both supply and demand. We need to identify all the people behind the plunder of our seas and the sites from which these marine species are taken for the sake of our country, our people, and our biodiversity. Your Honor, while we are determined to enforce the law, we also wish to extend a hand of cooperation. We are here to help spark the political will to promote compliance. From a handful of individuals who worked together last month, our number has grown exponentially. We have created a movement called Save Philippine Seas, which is currently conducting a Marine Resource Watch, actively lobbying and researching on the amendment of penalties, enforcement of law, and keeping citizenry aware through social media. We have received an overwhelming number of messages from Filipinos and non-Filipinos here and abroad offering their help. The Bayanihan spirit is very much alive, Your Honor. The rape of our rich marine resources is not just of national concern, but international concern because of its global significance. We can organize a group of volunteers to help restore the reefs or mobilize our partners in media for better information dissemination. Your Honor, we have entrusted you and our decision makers and leaders of today to be the guardians of our inheritance. You have the responsibility to ensure that we will still have the necessary sources of life that you had in your lifetime. These are the assets entrusted to you to conserve, protect, and restore. A violation of this trust will expose us and the generations to come to irreparable injury and irreversible damage. My generation and the generations yet unborn have a right to inherit a country that has sustained your generation. It must continue to do so. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ms. Oposa.